Hello, I'm Bob Infusino, the QA Manager at Val-Matic Valve, and would like to welcome you to the Val-Matic R&D Materials Laboratory, where we will be explaining the adhesion tests used to evaluate the quality of epoxy coatings used for the interior and exterior of valves to prevent corrosion in waterworks applications. The details of the coating test are given in ASTM D45401, which is designed to measure the strength of the bond between the coating and the base metal. Today we will be testing two different epoxy coatings applied to identical cast iron valve parts. The first coating is a high-performance two-component chemically cured epoxy. This coating system consists of liquid parts A and B that are mixed and sprayed onto the surface of the metal. The coating chemically cures and tightly bonds to the surface of the metal to a thickness of about 10 mils. The second coating is a high-performance fusion bonded epoxy coating. This coating is electrostatically applied to a metal surface heated to about 350 degrees Fahrenheit and then cured in an oven for another 10 minutes. Both coatings offer excellent corrosion resistance and glossy surfaces ideal for valve interiors. The test was started yesterday by gluing a test dolly onto the surface of each coating using an extremely strong industrial adhesive. Depending on the expected adhesion strength of the coating, a different diameter dolly is used. For today's test, we selected a 14mm dolly which will test coatings up to a strength of 6,000 psi. The strength of the coating will be determined with a hydraulic device that pulls the dolly off of the test part. This hydraulic pump will deliver extremely high hydraulic pressures to the cylinder. We start the test once the epoxy industrial adhesive has cured for our dolly by cutting the excessive adhesive around the dolly as well as the coating itself. This is for the purpose of only pulling the surface area equal to the diameter of the dolly so we have a precise test area. Once that has been cut, we are ready to perform the test. And we do that by coupling the couple to the dolly. We'll turn our pump on. We will select the test dolly diameter, in this case 14mm. We will also select the pressure units, in this case we're using PSI. And I will now zero the instrument, and I start by preloading the test specimen to approximately 100 psi, and then I start uniformly creating the pressure at approximately about 150 psi uniformly until the test specimen dolly pulls off the sample. And I will continue here until that pops off. That's the conclusion actually of the test, and as you can see on our monitor here, we actually had a test adhesion there of 5,640 psi. I will then note that on our specimen for our report, 5640. We will proceed to test the other test specimen now in comparison by performing the same steps. Cutting the excess of adhesive and paint around the test dolly. And again, attach our coupling. We'll prime our pump to 100 psi and proceed with the continuous pressure. And that's the conclusion of that test. And as you can see, this test failed at approximately 2,962 pounds of force. I will note that on the specimen. We found at the conclusion of this test that the fusion bonded epoxy had approximately twice the strength of the two-part epoxy. With almost twice the strength, consider specifying fusion bonded epoxy on your next valve project. Thank you for your interest in Val-Matic products.